Hey friends, welcome back to the Gentleman's Journey. Guys, in this one we're talking about Brunt workwear, specifically the Marin boot. Now guys, if you've been on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, especially YouTube, and you've searched anything boot related, I bet that Brunt has found you and they've shared one of their commercials with you. They have a really intelligent marketing scheme going on over there. I can tell you the founder, he understands millennials and he understands how to do business in 2023. Just look at how the company has grown over the past couple of years. Now on this channel, we like to do boot reviews. We're gonna do an initial breakdown, kind of the bolts and nuts, all of the different components of this boot, but hang tight because in a year, we're gonna do the 1 year review. That's where we really get into how did the boot hold up. We got a lot of different cleaning videos. We do kind of my boot collection every year to see how things are growing and changing. A lot of fun stuff, but in this video, we're gonna talk about the build quality, the construction, we're gonna talk about sizing, fit, we're gonna inject some of my opinions through the video, and of course, just like any good Gentleman's Journey video, we're gonna take these boots out on a little adventure. So as I start opening these up, guys, just remember to subscribe, and that way you can be notified anytime the next video comes out. So we're gonna breeze through this really quickly. Brunt sent these boots out for me to review, and I am just so thankful. I've had my eye on this company for a couple years now, and I've just been really wanting to get my hands on them. They actually give you a little cleaning rag, which is pretty cool, and the presentation here is really nice. Again, with that marketing. I've never quite seen them divide the boots like that, so that was kind of cool. But we're gonna pull these out, friends, and we're gonna go real quickly through the nuts and bolts of these boots. So what we have here is a 6-inch mock toe work boot. Guys, it has the full grain leather. It's a pull-up leather, has a bunch of oils in there. It's not a welted boot in that it's not a Goodyear or Blake. That's just a fake deal they put on there. It's actually cemented on. It has this wedge outsole and then this rubber. So that is something you don't see across the board. Something that Brunt has, I think that's specific to them. We're gonna get into that more details later, but that gives you the slip resistant. Being a work boot, it meets lots of different safety standards for all kinds of different tradies. It's supposed to be waterproof and yet breathable. So that's kind of the quick rundown, but I definitely want to get into all that stuff with much more detail. So if you just came, you wanted that, and now it's time for you to go, hey, that's what you get. But what I like to do on this channel is start kind of top down and see what you would see as if you had the boots on. Now, if you've been around the channel a while, you'll know that I have quite a few mock toe boots and growing. I had the roughneck boots, and then I have the Thoroughgood mock toe, and then I have the Red Wing 1907. So I have a bunch of mock toes. You can imagine that these will be thrown into some comparison videos at some point. One of the things you'll note right off the bat though is again that these are lined, and I talk about in the title of the video, you know, is this a work boot or a glorified tennis shoe? And when you wear these things, they really start feeling kind of like a tennis shoe. We'll get into some of the materials and see if they hold up to that work boot standard that some of you guys might be coming for. But again, looking at it top down, one of the first things I notice are the laces. You know, in some of the Red Wing, this and that, you'll get a set of nylon and leather. Right here, you got nylon. I think just due to the look of this boot, you know, I think you could pull off a leather, but it might look a little off in my estimation. Nylon laces look great. You'll notice, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4 eyelets coming up, and then a couple speed hook eyelet combinations. Now again, we're gonna talk about some of the pros, cons, and my opinions along the way. This is something I'm really gonna have to get some time in to understand and see if it's something I like. This to me is kind of my first flaw. I think, guys, we try to please everybody, and if you know, as gentlemen, that's something that we could learn and take away, that it's impossible to please everyone. If you're doing what's right, chances are you're gonna offend some people along the way. At any rate, I think they tried to appease everybody, and I'm not sure if they nailed it or not. We'll talk about that, the 1 year review, but it's a speed hook eyelet combination. Some people rave about it. They say that's what they like about it. It felt a little awkward pulling on and off. Maybe it's just something I gotta get used to, but I would say, you know, kudos to them for trying that. It's a little bit bulky for me. Without spending too much time on the eyelets there, let's talk about the leather here. So the first thing that you start seeing beyond the laces and speed hooks is that leather. You got so much room for leather, and I do think that's where this boot probably partially because it's a lined boot, it starts feeling a little bit space booty to me. I don't know, this area, this region through here, I could just see kind of like the Thorogood, maybe having even some stitching, even if they didn't mean anything, just for design. Just a big kind of bulky patch. Maybe it's because I have a bigger foot all around, so I have a bigger boot. Just a little bit big there, but the leather in and of itself is a full grain pull-up leather. So it has a bunch of oils and a bunch of waxes built into it, and that's part of the tanning process, if you will. And it's 2 ounce thick leather, so it's kind of in that range of maybe Thorogood. I think Thorogood would still be a little bit thicker, not near as thick as maybe the Red Wing leather. And of course, I'm used to some of these Pacific Northwest boot companies where we get into the really thick workwear leather. But look at, we're looking at a boot for under 140 bucks right now. They got all kinds of deals. They got promo codes. They got all kinds of stuff there that you can look at from time to time. So you're not gonna be expecting the thickest leather. I think this is obviously a step up for the guy who's running out to Walmart on his first job and grabbing whatever, I think it's like Brahma or some kind of dorky boot there, but it's not maybe something like the Pacific Northwest boots, and that's where the price is gonna reflect that. This leather, I can't wait to see how it does over the next year. You know, we're gonna see how it holds up. I'm not buying this as a dress boot by any standards, by any means. This is gonna be a work boot. Most of my boots, friends, I just kick around. I work in them, I hike in them, I play in them. Very few do I have for dress. Very few do I want to think about not scratching them. It just, I don't know, it's not my current lifestyle and this and that. I have some boots that I'll preach in and have sermons and stuff, but you know, I could see even preaching in a boot like this. So at any rate, the leather there isn't gonna need a tremendous amount of care because it has all that oils built into it. They do now have this in the black. Apparently that was a big request by so many gentlemen, is they wanted the black option. So you have the brown, the black. It almost gives off, maybe in this light, kind of that copper rough and tough by Red Wing. I don't know, somewhere in between there. But it's a pretty nice leather. It's pretty soft, so it's not gonna need a lot of break-in or anything like that. You're not gonna have to worry about break-in. These boots are ready to hit the ground running. As far as cleaning it, you know, I would say grab probably whatever you have. Don't run out for these boots and just buy a bunch of new conditioners. They have their own stuff there you can buy on the website. You can buy their own care products. But friends, if you're getting this for a work boot, what I would do, especially if you had some already, is throw some mink oil on it. That's gonna give it basically the best treatment you can get. It's gonna be weather ready for any kind of environment that you're gonna be in, and it'll darken it a little bit, but it's a work boot, so I figure what the heck does it really matter anyways. If you're buying this maybe as something as a casual boot, you know, you can buy some Big 4 Big 4 and throw that on there. It's not going to change the color, it's going to condition it. I'll drop a link to the 2 conditioners and, you know, some saddle soap or some leather cleaner. You can hit it with that beforehand. I'll put a link to all that stuff and the boots themselves in the description below. But yeah, you're not gonna need a huge process right out the gate. It just depends on what kind of trade you're in. So maybe if you're doing drywall or if you're doing cement work, these things are gonna be taking a beating constantly. Yeah, you're gonna wanna get all that junk off the boots often. And so clean them, give it 12 to 24 hours and then hit it with that conditioner. That's why I always say, guys, have 2 pair of boots, and I think these would be a good secondary boot while you're cleaning maybe your Pacific Northwest boots. We'll get into that a little bit later as we get into my opinions of the boots. You'll see throughout that it has what they say double stitching where it counts. Obviously, we're not doing a comparison video, but you'll see on some of the Red Wing and Thorogood, and especially the Pacific Northwest boots, a lot of, you know, triple, even quad rows of stitching throughout. But that kind of goes hand in hand with this liner. Again, they have the online option, and maybe in hindsight I should have gone for that because it would make a better comparison video. But I really think this will be great for the winter time. So why not have a boot option where it's a little bit more padded, a little more cushiony. We'll see how that goes and see if that doesn't kind of lean towards more of a winter boot. Of course, Red Wing has a mock toe that's winter ready. I think it has Thinsulate or something like that in there. A lot of companies run some winter options. They don't quite market it as a winter option with the padding, but one can only imagine that's going to help in those climates. But at any rate, it's supposed to be breathable as well. So obviously a mock toe, and now we're going to get into that midsole region. It's not Goodyear welted, and it's not Blake stitch, it's not any of that. It's cemented on. This boot is made in China, so that's where I'm going to lose some of you folks. But those of you guys that want to keep hanging on, let's keep talking about it a bit more. So it is cemented on, and that's where it starts to feel, between the padding, maybe the thinner leather, and the cement construction, kind of like a glorified tennis shoe. Now, I'm not saying that is what it is yet. I'm not even going to make that declaration at the end of this video. We'll talk about it at the 1 year review mark, but one starts to think. So that is cemented on, and this little stitch there is a false stitch. And so once this guy goes, obviously you could probably get a cobbler to glue another outsole on, but that's where gentlemen think that maybe that will suffer kind of early on and split and crack off. I even hear guys talk about the Thorogood separating off and then have to get it repaired. One of the things that guys come to, other than the price point for this boot, now the founder is big, Eric, and I'm not going to say his last name because I'll butcher it. One of the things he's big on is, he said he was in the trades during college. He had a bunch of buddies that were in the trades, and he wanted to build a boot for these guys, himself and his friends, that would be a really good contender, you know, comparable to Red Wing and some of these names that we mentioned, but it would have a better price point. And so that's where you're going to see, obviously, something has to give. There has to be compromise somewhere. So you're not going to get someone to go work in a factory. You know, we've toured Nick's, we've toured Frank's, I've been through White's actually, and you're not going to go work at a place like that all day in and out and expect kind of a cheap, you know, salary. So, and you're not going to get that kind of quality for that price point either. So something's going to have to give, and that's what we're going to talk about through the video. And then the 1 year review is going to see if these suckers can hold up like they say they will. So something that draws people to these boots, other than the price point, is the comfort. So again, there's no break-in period because it's just a soft, supple leather, and it's ready to rock and roll. It's thinner, and some of the processes of how it's made, it just doesn't need any break-in process. But this is kind of their insole, and it's memory foam, if you will. So it's supposed to basically make a print of your foot the way maybe a leather insole would. And then below that, they have this liner. So what this does is it makes it, it even says on there, takes it from a D width to an EE width. So basically when you remove this, this can drop down lower, letting your foot expand wider. I thought it's pretty clever. I'm curious if you guys have this boot. If you've taken that out, let me know. Did that do it for you? Was that what you needed to get basically the width right? Let's talk about sizing a little bit. So I'm 11 and a half D. So I'm 12 on a Brannick device, and I went half size down. They say that it's true to size. I was emailing back and forth, checking out some other reviews and stuff like that. Decided to go half a size down, and that was the go for me. So I'm really happy that I did. And if I ever needed to, I could basically take that little gray part out, and it would drop down and give me some more width. So right now, that's working really good for me. 11 and a half. So you guys will see that I'm 11 in my Thorogoods, in my Nicks. I'm 11 in Iron Rangers and stuff like that. So if you have any questions about sizing, make sure and drop those in the comments. I'd love to answer any questions I can, but they're pretty transparent about their sizing. And as you read through some of the reviews, most guys say that they haven't had any issues with that. So I don't think you'll face much, but I would go half a size down from Brannick. That's what I did, and it worked really good for me. So they have these in size 7 to 16. They have men and women's options. Then they have a bunch of other boots. So in this particular boot, though, they have the steel toe. Again, they have the black model, or I think composite toe. And then they have this in the 8-inch. So they got a few different options as well, kind of like a tennis shoe sneaker looking option that has the composite toe if you need it to. Then a couple others that maybe look a little bit more like some of the modern work boots, I guess I would say. It's not leather, it's more of a fabric, and it has kind of a hiking boot vibe to it. There's a bunch of different options on the website, and now they've already gotten into apparel, and they've gotten into like hats and beanies and hoodies and I think pants and stuff like that. So they got a huge array of things, and there's some bundles and stuff so you can save. Again, with this marketing, these guys are smart. You know, they're trying to get their product out there into different avenues. So you grab a pair of boots, get a discount on a pair of pants and stuff like that. So it makes it easier for guys like you and I to get into some of those clothes and maybe try them without full-on committing. So give you a little discount, which will help you maybe give those pants a try or something like that. So check the website and you'll see some more information on that. But I went with this option because this is pretty much run-of-the-mill. You know, I'm not going to be using these per se for any trade right now. If you guys have been watching the channel, you'll know that I used to have a cleanup and hauling business. So I've done construction, I've done carpentry, plumbing, I've done framing and stuff like that. So right now I'm not currently in those trades. So I got these as, I guess, more of a casual boot, but you'll see over the years some of the videos I do, some of the places these boots will take me. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I gotta say, friends, if you guys are thinking about getting something cheaper than this, you know, some of the reviews talk about a boot, this is such a big upgrade for them and this and that. I would say you're probably gonna be buying boots every 6-7 months. So again, if this is an upgrade for you, yeah, I could see that, but I wouldn't want to go much lower than this price point. We're going to talk in just a few minutes about my kind of initial thoughts on these boots, but let's get into that outsole a bit. Really popular these days is the wedge outsole. All kinds of different trades could benefit from that. It's really comfortable if you're on your feet all day. As you can imagine, just standing on a chunk of foam is going to be great for your back and this and that. But one thing they did is they skirted it with some rubber. So that's going to give it some more traction, and it's going to give it that slip resistance. Meets all the different safety standards for different types of trades. You guys know what to look for when you're buying boots if you need that. But apparently, you know, so what some guys' concern is once that runs out, you're going to be running through that wedge sole that much quicker. I'm not so sure about that because we'll just have to see how that wedge sole holds up once we do get through that rubber. But you know, in my estimation, at that point, it would just be what maybe your regular Red Wing or Thorogood wedge outsole would be. So I'm not so concerned about running through it, but what I am is optimistic and really looking forward to seeing how that'll hold up. Just seeing the different comfort level over the year between this and maybe some of my other boots. So imagine there's going to be some really good, fun conversations coming out of these boots in the next year. But let me just tell you real quickly kind of my rundown, and if you have any questions, friends, I'm an open book. Make sure and ask anything you have about these boots. I try to cover so much in these videos, I always miss something. So make sure and drop any comments below. But you know, my initial thought is I am concerned that maybe it's a glorified tennis shoe, but I don't want to dub it that, just because it kind of feels like, you know, your Nike high tops or something. We all had them as a kid. If you grew up in the 80s or this and that, early 90s, you have those high tops, and maybe because I got the padded version, it just feels so different to me than some of my other boots. So I'm going to have to see how it goes, but it is extremely comfortable right out the gate. No break-in process or anything like that I'm worried about, and ultra comfortable, super cheap. What I think these boots would be really great for is your cleaning day boot. And what I mean by that is if you have a different set of boots, maybe some, the White's Perry boots or something like that, different mock toe, high-end, $500-600 pair of boots, well, those suckers are gonna need cleaned. So on cleaning day, you can grab these and run these to work. They ought to last you 2 or 3 years if you're only using them, you know, every so often while the other ones are getting cleaned. So I always think that a guy ought to have an extra set. Maybe put these in the back of your truck as well, because you know, I was way out, maybe an hour and a half from home when my Justin cowboy boots decided to go out on me. So friends, I started flopping and I was out in this really hot sand, and the sand kept getting in there and I couldn't walk, and it was just goofy. Man, I would have killed to have an extra set of boots. So if I'm actually going maybe an hour from the house for work or something like that these days, you know, you might break a lace or something, so why not have an extra set of boots in there? These guys would be an awesome boot that if you're not sure about them and you want to test them out for a season, why not have it as your cleaning day boot or your spare boot? You know, put them on and run them for a while and just give them a good try. I think the price point, they said that they're trying to make a boot that's competitive to the higher end boots, but not gonna break the bank of a working man. And I talk a lot about our wage. You know, when we go to work, we trade our hours at home with our wife and kids. We trade that for that dollar, and we want to make sure and spend that dollar, you know, well spent. And I don't want to encourage you guys to buy junk at all. So we're always trying to put out really good gear on this channel and use our minds a little bit and be thinking through this process. So if you've been listening on the channel a little bit and you really like that idea of that second boot or that cleaning boot, but maybe you're not ready to pull a trigger on 2 pairs of whites or a Franks and a Nicks or something like that, man, why not, you know, grab one of these boots and have them there for cleaning day and just give them a go. There's a lot of different stuff to talk about, but I think it's time to put these things to the test. So like I said, friends, we always take them on a little adventure, and today's gonna be a fun one. I got a fun video planned for y'all. But first, if you check out my shirt, guys, I'm recording this over here in July. By the time this video comes out, I think it's gonna be sometime into August. But friends, it is Christmas in July. Now this is David's Wear, but since I got my collaboration with them, they've changed their name to Yumi. I'm probably saying that wrong, but check the description below. I'll have a link to this company. So I just can't wait to be rocking this at some kind of Christmas party or something. All different occasions. I think I'll wake up Christmas morning and just feel right in the spirit. So super pumped about this. Again, there's not a beach behind me or anything like that, but there's always an occasion to wear a Hawaiian shirt. So they got a lot of fun shirts over there at Yumi. So I'll drop a link to that in the description. But at any rate, friends, let's get these guys out and let's go put them to work. All right, friends, so here it is the next day, and we are bound for that adventure. Now, we got an awesome one for you. We are over in Couer, Idaho. I'm gonna start putting these boots on, and I'm gonna tell you where we're at. So if you guys have been watching the channel a bit, you'll see some of the cool spots I've taken you. Of course, way back, I went over in Colorado to some of my favorite spots. Here recently, we were over in the Bighorn National Forest for that special video kind of about my grandpa. And then that was a really cool place that I found. Special hikes to me along the way I take you guys with. There's Bishop's Rock over in Colorado that I've taken you guys to. And then when I did my Frank's boot, the Riker AT review, I took you up to a really cool spot with awesome aspen trees over there in Colorado. So over in Wyoming, the Bighorns, and now today we're at Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Guys, right downtown there's an awesome park, and then the lake is over here, and there's a trail system that goes all the way around where you can see the water the whole time. Everyone's jumping in, having a good time splashing around. Awesome, kind of challenging hike, just that in some spots it gets a little dicey for older people and this and that, but overall pretty casual, easy hike you can do in like an hour or something like that. But I'm leaving the Chacos for a minute, but I'm going to have them on my backpack because we are going to be needing these, and I'll show you why in a minute. Wearing another one of these Yumi shirts. If you guys have checked back the channel, you've probably seen this one pop up in my video. I ended up getting 3 from them. Their website is constantly changing, so make sure and check back that. But today, guys, we're all about these boots, so I got them laced up. Let's go show you how beautiful this trail is.
here waiting. I'll be here waiting.
All right, check it out, guys. So friends, this is what we come here for. You can see way off in the distance behind me, you got I-90. So I-90 is heading east and west, but friends, we found a little Couer. So there's my wife and my dog. We're gonna be kicking back down here, just enjoying ourselves, about to slip into the water here in a minute. But guys, let me just tell you a little bit about these boots. Again, initial thoughts, initial reviews. Guys, these things are holding up really well. They're extremely comfortable. The traction and grip is out of sight. Again, you might not buy these for a hiking boot. You might be wanting them as a bit of a work boot or something like that. But let me tell you, they are holding up very well to all that. I'll know more later today if my feet start hurting or this or that. If there's anything too crazy, I'll leave it in the comments, kind of pinned at the top. But honestly, I think these boots are worth giving a shot. You know, like I said, your cleaning day boot, your extra boot, they might be your everyday boot. We'll know in a year how they hold up, but I'm super stoked about them. Pumped to be able to work with Brunt. Really excited about that, so thank you, Brunt, for sending these out. Guys, if you have any questions, make sure and get to me in the comments. I'll answer anything you have. I want to end with the scripture here for y'all. Psalm 34 verses 8 says, "Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him." Guys, I've taken refuge in the Lord and my life has never been the same. You know, I just encourage you guys to taste and see, to give him a try. Open up your Bible. I'm sure everyone has one sitting around the house. This guy's trying to interrupt my little sermonette, but friends, I just love the Lord so much, and I hope you guys will get to know him and that you'll invite him into your hearts. Guys, I'm enjoying every bit on this channel. I sure hope you are too. Let me know what you guys want to see coming up. I got some more boots. I got some fun stuff. The channel is going to be ending up going in a few different directions. Got some more gear, more guy related stuff that we're going to bring onto the channel. So let me know what y'all think. And guys, until the next one, God bless. And hey, don't forget to give those boots some love from time to time.